Hello everybody and welcome back to Slingcore Survival. Last episode we went to take on the Ender Dragon and we actually got a nice pair of elytra, which is awesome, but in order to really properly use elytra you need rockets. And I don't really have a good way of getting them, so in this episode what I want to do is make a sugarcane farm so that I can easily get some ingredients for rockets. Before I get into the sugarcane farm though, there's a couple different things that I want to show you, and one of them is that I've extended this mine shaft area to go to the zombie spawner. So if you go down this way, well, that's not the zombie spawner, that is a zombie though. Up those stairs down there, you go up those stairs, that goes right to the zombie spawner. So I can easily get XP now. I don't have to go over the whole mountain, I can just come right through this nice little tunnel. And I also added in these rails just to make it more like an actual mine shaft. Another thing that I did is actually finally finish putting the books in this library. I didn't actually kill enough cows and get enough sugarcane to do it. I ended up just going into the stronghold and mining up some of those bookshelves in the libraries in there with my silk pick. And yeah, I was actually able to fill this place out and make it look like a library. And one last thing before I get to the sugarcane farm is that I've made this path going to this gate and into the main path system. At first I was going to get some like fences and put them along here just to prevent mobs from coming in, but I realized that wouldn't look too good, and I was like, I'm not going to let the villagers out anyway, so might as well just leave it like this and have it look cooler. If a skeleton or zombie comes in, I can just easily kill it, so shouldn't be too big of a deal. And with that out of the way, we can start working on this sugarcane farm. It's just going to be your basic, piston and observer farm. But I still want to show me building some of it just in case you don't know how to build one. And I didn't really base this off of anyone's particular design, so this is kind of my own design, I guess, even though the concept isn't. Anyway, the first thing that I'm going to do is get like the actual water part ready, and this is where the water is going to be so that the sugarcane can be on this side. This is actually going to be the outside, and there's going to be sugarcane on this part. So I've measured it out. It's 16 blocks this way. And this part I'm just going to keep up in the air. I don't really care to bring it down anymore. This will need to go along like this because I need to put water in here. Whoops, didn't need to put that one here. And then I can just bring it this way and then fill it up with some water. Alright, so once you get your water in like this, you can put your sugarcane along the side. And then what we need to do is have a bunch of pistons 1 block above. There we are. And also, by the time I'm done with this, it probably will not be dirt back there because I am going to decorate it. At this point, I just want to get the basic functionality in place, and then once I get that, I can do all of the cosmetic things. Anyway, once you get these pistons in, you're going to want to place an observer. And actually, I have a bunch of observers because I want to do a little bit of a test. On this specific side of the farm, because there's going to be 2 sides, one over here and one over there. There's only going to be 1 observer. But on the other side, there's going to be an observer over every block. And I'm not entirely sure which solution is going to be faster or more efficient. So figure on this side, I'll just have 1 observer here. And then on the other side, all of them will have observers. Once you get this observer in, you can just put dirt along here or whatever building block you want. Again, mine might change. But right now, it's just going to be dirt. And then grab some redstone and just lay it across the top like this. Whoops, missed a spot. I'm actually not sure if I'm going to need a repeater. Should probably check that. But basically, every time that gets there, all of them fire. Here, let's see. Do I need a repeater? I don't think so. Nope. Okay. We're good. So then this, right under your sugarcane, where your sugarcane is where you're going to have a minecart going back and forth a hopper minecart specifically, to collect up the sugarcane that breaks and falls. One thing that's kind of important to know is put the powered rail a little bit beyond this block, because if you put it here, the minecart's going to turn around, and then if an item drops like... Okay, well that was a terrible example, but let's say an item drops on the edge of this block, the minecart hopper would not be able to pick that up because it would be turning around too quickly. If you put the powered rail here, then it will come far enough and it will still get that item. So then all the rails in between here, you can just have them be normal. And you might have to dig this out. I actually wanted this to be a little bit below the ground just because I thought it would look kind of cool. So in this case, it is going to be dug out a little bit. And again, I'm going to put this powered rail one after the sugarcane block right there. So once you get your rails in, you're going to want to find the center point, and then you can put in your chest. I just marked the center point with those torches, and I have no idea why those two chests did not connect. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay, that was a weird glitch. Can't really speak about that. I don't know why that happened. And then what you want to do is take a hopper. Might have to dig out a few blocks for that, and put it in just like that. Then you can take your rail and still put it across here. And then to actually get the minecart going back and forth, you're going to want to put a lever and activate it on either side of these rails. You're also going to want to have a block here and on the other side so that the minecart will actually go back and forth. Once you get your hopper minecart, you can just set it down, and it'll go down to that way, and it'll come back this way. And it'll only go over the hopper once every time, so it won't be the most efficient, but it will work probably well enough for what I'm doing with this. I'm not, the greatest redstone person, but let's say, for example, you're throwing these down. It's going to come over, pick them up, you can see they're gone, and it's going to start dropping them off into this chest. It's a little bit slow, like I said before, but it will eventually all get in there, and I'm probably not going to be checking this farm all that much, so it's not too big of a deal to me. And now that I have this side done, I'm going to just copy it over onto the other side, except instead of just having one observer, I'm going to have a whole row of them. So, as you can see, I've copied it over onto this side, and now it's time for me to focus on the aesthetics of this build. Also, I actually have a shulker box this time, which is going to make it a lot easier to do. I'm thinking of just having this sort of look kind of basic. It's probably going to have some stone bricks and oak as the main building blocks of this, I guess. And I don't know. I don't know if it'll look good, bad, but I just want to try it. And the very first thing that I'm going to do is go right here and put glass in front, 3 blocks high, in front of all the sugarcane. And this is important because if this glass wasn't here, then the sugarcane could fall into the water and then it might not get collected. The other good thing about this glass being here is that you can see the progress of how the sugarcane is doing, which is just kind of nice to see. And I'm definitely going to need to go grab some more sand. While we're waiting for that to smelt, I'm just going to continue doing some decorating on this. And one thing that I think might actually look pretty good is if I replace this dirt right here, whoop, that's going to spill everywhere, with, okay, that doesn't get rid of the path block, luckily. If I replace this right here with logs coming up, I think that might look pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do this on the other side. I really have no idea what I want this place to look like. I'm just doing what I think might look kind of cool. And I'm super lucky that none of the rails got taken out right there. I think that'll be pretty good. And then I want to do a foundation of stone bricks, except I'm going to have stairs. Hopefully you can see what I mean by that here. I'm basically just going to take out all these grass blocks and put in stone bricks in their spot. That looks alright, but I think I might want to take out this stair right here and never mind. I was gonna say put it on the corner, but then you see that water floating there, and I just think that looks goofy, so we're gonna put it in the normal way. Another thing that I want to try adding in is furnaces along the top. On that side I obviously don't need to because there's gonna be an observer, but, well, I put that in the wrong way. I think the back of a furnace might look pretty good here, even if they're never actually going to be used as furnaces. I just think it sort of matches what a observer looks like without actually doing anything. So I think it could look pretty nice in that spot. Let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to take this lever and put it over here. Whoops. Then place some oak logs on this side and probably just bring that up to the top. Yeah, so then we get a nice corner kind of like that. And then on this side I also decided to just put in some oak log there just so that it looked kind of nice on the glass side of things. In here I kind of want to use some oak stairs to bring it in, because this area in here is probably going to be made out of wood, the floor at least. I think I'm going to replace these dirt blocks right here with some stone bricks. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. And another thing that I'm going to do is replace these blocks here with oak logs just so that it fits in with that one right there. Another thing that I want to try and do is sort of pull this wall forward a block. And what I want to do is have some glass panes basically going over top of this chest so that then you can see the minecart going back and forth along here. Now I can't replace these blocks because that's where the sugarcane is, and if I get rid of the dirt there then they will break and not be able to grow. So I'm sort of going to do a little perimeter like this with stone bricks, and then just fill this in with glass panes. And there we go, we can see our minecart going back and forth just like that. And since these are glass panes, I can actually still open up this chest. I think that looks pretty nice. And I'm not really sure what else to add to this side, so I think I'm just going to take everything that I've done and copy it over to the other side. So I copied everything that I did over here onto this side, and now the only thing that I need to build is the roof and the floor. But I'm thinking that those are going to be somewhat difficult to figure out how to build, so I think I might build those off camera and then show you once I'm done. And here we are. I know that this build is a little bit different from the way that I normally do builds. I didn't really have an idea what I was doing going into this one. Usually I have somewhat of an idea of what I want it to look like, but in this case I really had no clue. I just sort of started trying things until I got something that I liked. One new thing that I tried was this smooth stone slabs up here on the roof. I never really used smooth stone before, and I kind of like it and wanted to try it out, so I figured it'd be nice to do it on the roof. And it took me a while to figure out that I wanted glowstone up here, but I think that looks alright. And then coming into the main building, I decided to have an entrance from this side, as well as an entrance on the other side, and eventually I'm going to extend the paths into here, and extend the path over there to this path. And I haven't done that yet, obviously. I'm going to end up doing that later. In here, I didn't know what to do with the floor, so I decided to go with sort of a checkered pattern with the spruce and birch. At first I had it with birch and dark oak, but it just was too big of a contrast, so then I decided to switch the dark oak to the spruce. Also, one thing that was kind of neat that I did was, at first I just had the torches at the entrances, except it wasn't light enough, so then, I don't know if you can see right there, but I put some glowstone under the hopper, and that sort of made the room light up enough. Also, I'm not entirely sure which side is actually getting sugarcane more quickly. So far, this side has more sugarcane in the chest, but I also started it sooner, so I'm gonna keep this running for a bit, and once, if this side ever passes the side with the one observer, then I'll put all observers on this side. But if it never passes, I might just take out these observers and replace them with furnaces like I did on this side right over here. And that takes us to the end of the episode. I know that my build style in this one was a little bit different than normal, but I'm glad that I got to try out the smooth stone, which is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one.